Time is like a river. Usually, it only flows one way. But for a young man named Leo, time lived inside an old silver pocket watch. This watch was different. It didn't just tell the time, it told the truth. When the ticking stopped, the secrets of the past began to speak. It was a silence louder than any noise, and it was about to change Leo's life forever. Leo grew up in a small, cozy house that always smelled like old books and peppermint tea. His grandfather, Adolf, was the most important person in his life. Adolf was a man of very few words, but his presence felt as steady as a mountain. While other kids had grandfathers who took them to loud movies or busy malls, Leo's grandfather taught him the art of being quiet and watching the world move. They spent thousands of hours together in the back garden. Adolf would sit in his favorite green wooden chair, and Leo would sit on the soft grass at his feet. Every few minutes, Adolf would reach into his vest pocket and pull out a silver watch. The silver was scratched and dull from many years of use. The glass face had a tiny crack in the corner, shaped like a lightning bolt. Adolf would look at it, close his eyes for a second, as if he were praying, and then put it back. "Why do you look at that watch so much, Grandpa?" Leo asked one sunny afternoon. "The clock on the kitchen wall is much bigger, and it actually works perfectly. Your watch is always a little bit slow." Adolf smiled, and the many wrinkles around his eyes deepened. "This watch doesn't just measure minutes, Leo. It measures a life. It knows things that my brain has forgotten. It holds the weight of every choice I ever made, the good and the bad." He patted Leo's hand with his rough, warm palm. "One day, this watch will belong to you. When it stops, do not be afraid. Do not try to shake it or fix it. Just watch, listen, and learn what it has to say to you." Winter arrived with a heavy, cold wind that rattled the windows of the old house. Adolf became very weak, and eventually he could no longer sit in his garden chair. He spent his days in a large bed by the window so he could see the birds in the bare trees. The room was always very quiet, except for the soft ticking of the silver watch on the bedside table. To Leo, it sounded like a tiny mechanical heart beating in the silence of the room. One evening, as the sun was setting and painting the sky in shades of deep purple, Adolf called Leo to his side. His voice was a thin whisper, like dry leaves blowing on the ground. He took Leo's hand and placed the heavy silver watch into it. The metal was still warm from Adolf's skin. "Time is a gift, Leo," Adolf whispered, his grip surprisingly strong for a moment. "Most people spend their time like it is water, throwing it away, but it is actually gold. My stories, the happy ones and the very hard ones, are all inside this watch now. I am giving them to you because you are the one who will carry our family into the future. Promise me you will listen when it goes quiet. Promise me." Leo nodded, his eyes stinging with hot tears. "I promise, Grandpa. I will always keep it with me." A few moments later, Adolf closed his eyes for the last time and went to sleep forever. The room grew very still. Leo looked down at the watch in his hand. It was still ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Each sound felt like a piece of Adolf was still standing right there in the room with him. A week after the funeral, the house felt far too large and much too empty. Leo sat in Adolf's old green chair in the garden, staring at the empty space where his grandfather used to be. The silence of the house was heavy and sad. He pulled the watch from his pocket. He found himself waiting for something to happen, though he didn't know what it would be. Suddenly, the ticking stopped. The hands of the watch froze at exactly 3 p.m. The air in the garden suddenly felt warm and humid, like a summer day in July. Leo smelled the sweet scent of fresh grass and blooming honeysuckle. The walls of the house behind him blurred and faded away into a mist. Suddenly, Leo was not in the present day anymore. He was standing in a sunny, open field many, many years ago. He saw a young Adolf, looking tall, strong, and very handsome. Adolf was laughing, a loud, booming sound that Leo had never heard in real life. He was holding a young woman's hand and dancing in the tall grass. This was Leo's grandmother, who had passed away long before Leo was born. "I'll build our home right here," Adolf shouted over the wind. "A place where our children will play and where we will grow old together. I promise to make you happy every single day." Leo watched them laugh and spin until they were dizzy. He saw the pure joy on his grandfather's face. It was a beautiful golden memory of a man who was deeply in love and full of hope for the future. It was a side of Adolf that Leo had never imagined. Then, with a soft click, the watch hand moved. The field disappeared. Leo was back in the quiet garden, but he felt a strange, beautiful warmth in his chest. A few days later, Leo was walking through the town. He was thinking about his own life and feeling very stressed about school and how he would find a good job. He felt like the world was too hard. Suddenly, he felt a strange coldness in his pocket. He pulled out the watch. The hands had stopped at 11 p.m. The street around him vanished instantly. He was now standing in a dark, dusty cellar filled with coal. It was freezing cold, and he could see his own breath in the air. He saw Adolf, perhaps 30 years younger than the grandpa he knew. Adolf was shivering as he shoveled heavy black coal into a roaring furnace. Adolf looked completely exhausted. His face was covered in black dust, and his hands were red and bleeding from the rough wooden handle of the heavy shovel. A man in a fancy suit walked by and barked, "If you want the extra money to keep your house and pay the doctor, you stay here and work until the sun comes up, Adolf. Do you understand?" Adolf didn't look up. He didn't complain. He just gripped the shovel tighter and kept working. He pulled the silver watch out of his pocket, looked at a small picture of his children tucked inside the lid, and whispered to himself, "For them. I can do this for them. They need to be warm and safe." Leo watched as Adolf worked through the entire night, ignoring his own pain and his shaking legs. He realized that the comfortable life he had as a child was paid for by these long, dark nights of his grandfather's hard labor. Adolf had sacrificed his own health and his own comfort so his family could have a better life. The watch was showing Leo the true cost of love. Love wasn't just dancing in a field, it was working in the dark when you were tired. As the weeks went by, the watch continued to stop at different times. Each time, it revealed a different secret from Adolf's long life. These weren't just big events, they were small, quiet moments of goodness that no one else in the world had ever seen. At 5 a.m., the watch stopped and showed Adolf standing in the pouring rain. He met a homeless man who was shaking from the cold. Adolf didn't hesitate. He took off his own warm coat and gave it to the man. Then, Adolf walked all the way home in the rain, shivering and wet, but he told his wife he just forgot his coat at work because he didn't want any praise. At 8 p.m., it showed a moment when Adolf was offered a high-paying job in a very big city far away. Adolf looked at the job offer, then he looked at his small children eating dinner and laughing together. He slowly tore the paper in half and threw it in the trash. He chose to stay in a small, simple job just so he wouldn't have to be away from the people he loved. He chose time with his family over having more money. Leo began to understand that his grandfather was a secret hero. He didn't do these things for rewards, he did them because he believed that time spent helping others was the only time that was truly important. Each silence of the watch was a lesson in how to be a real man. One evening, Leo went back to the old garden. He stood by the tree where Adolf used to sit. The sun was going down and the sky was a beautiful orange color. Leo held the watch tightly in his hand. At 6:30 p.m., the watch stopped one last time. The world didn't change into the past this time. Instead, a soft, white light appeared on the bench next to Leo. He saw a shimmering vision of Adolf sitting there. He looked peaceful and young. "Grandpa?" Leo whispered, his voice shaking. The vision of Adolf looked at him with a very gentle smile. "Do you see it now, Leo? A man's life is not just a collection of days or years, it is a collection of choices. I didn't give you this watch to show you my past, I gave it to you so you would understand how to live your own life. Adolf pointed to the watch in Leo's hand. Every second you have is a chance to be kind. Every minute is a chance to help someone else. Don't wait until you are old to realize that love is the only thing that stays behind when the clock finally stops ticking. Adolf reached out and his hand seemed to touch the watch. I am not in the metal and the gears, Leo. I am in the life I built for you. I am in the love I gave away. Now it is your turn. Wind the watch, Leo. Start your own time. The vision faded into the night air like a dream. The garden was quiet, but for the first time, Leo did not feel lonely. He felt full of strength. Leo looked down at the silver watch. He reached for the small dial and wound it carefully. Click, click, click. The watch started ticking again. Tick, tick, tick. But the sound was different now. It didn't sound like a countdown toward an end. It sounded like a drum, calling him to start a new journey. He realized that his grandfather had left him the greatest gift in the world. It wasn't money. It was the knowledge that time is only valuable if you use it to love other people. Leo felt a new sense of purpose. He wasn't just a grandson anymore. He was a man with a mission. He tucked the watch safely into his pocket, feeling its steady heartbeat against his leg. He stood up and walked back toward the house with a bright smile on his face. He knew he would have hard days ahead, and he knew he would have to make difficult choices, but he also knew that whenever he felt lost or afraid, he could just reach into his pocket and listen to the lesson his grandfather had left him. He was going to make every second count. He was going to live a life that was worth stopping for. Grandfather did not just give him a watch, he gave him a reason to make every second an act of love.